Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Added Time FPL. My name is Nate, this is Mike, and Happy New Year 2025, our first episode of the 2025 segment of the season, and first of the new year. Hope you've had good celebrations. Hope you've had a good Christmas, but it's all back to work, Mike, and back to FPL, back to normal FPL, I should say, back with a normal weekend deadline. Yeah, hope you guys have had a good break thus far, but we're going to talk about Game Week 20. But first, bit of a review. What happened last week?
Firstly, I don't even know what day it is anymore. I don't know what day it is. It's that time between Christmas and New Year's, and then I didn't know what day it was. So FPL deadlines were all weird and everything was strange. So I'm looking forward to some order back in my life. But can anybody stop the juggernaut that's Liverpool and Slot? Do you see him stopping? Top of the
No.
table, Christmas?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, you would think that after their performance over Christmas, that they're pretty much, I don't know, set in stone that they have the league. Yeah, I don't think that much are going to stop them, to be honest. The way they're playing, they're keeping clean sheets as well, which we'll talk about. Van Dijk and Trent, who are consistently getting those clean sheet points. But there is something that might make them stop. Maybe not, because he's staying until the end of the season, which we originally thought he was staying indefinitely, but Mohamed Salah's contract is due to finish at the end of the season.
Where's this guy going to go? Where is he going to go?
They're going to build him a statue in Saudi. I don't know. I
know. I see your point about him going to Saudi. He's the form of his life. He's peaking now. Okay. This is giving me like Ronaldo vibes in terms of his fitness, his power, his intensity, his drive. I get he wants to leave a legacy behind and leave at his peak. And maybe it's a good point to leave because Liverpool are rebuilding. So this is the last point. Like, I know Slot's done good to not change anything, but let's be honest, a lot of the success Liverpool had this season because of Klopp, right? What he left behind, right? Is Salah now trying to go like, okay, Jurgen left and left stability. Now is the right time to go for myself and for the club. But how do you replace Mohamed Salah? He's probably one of the best players in the whole world, top 3 right now.
I think he's certainly the best right winger in the world, like hands down. Who's Phil Foden? Nevertheless, you don't. I mean, that's Liverpool's problem, isn't it? You know, for them to figure out who they're going to replace him with.
I just don't want to lose stars in the Premier League. Like, I'd rather see Mohamed Salah every week.
The other side is
FPL with him.
Well, there you go. Like, this is also Mohamed Salah's last FPL season as well, technically. So this is your last season to captain Mohamed Salah.
So I should stop not captaining him. Damn it, man. He keeps scoring. So we can talk about him a bit later, whether we should captain against United or not. But he keeps on returning non-stop. So yeah, I think he is the type of player that's going to end strong. I think whether he gets a new contract or not, I think he's going to end the season very, very strong. So he should be in everybody's team. If he's not in your team, you obviously hate Liverpool. Very 70% percentage owned. So all those Haaland owners who didn't have Salah put their money into Salah now. I know.
Another team that's doing well, but has a bit of a suspension issue is Aston Villa. They have started to pick up a bit of form. Congratulations, Mike, to your call on Ollie Watkins. Duran out, or Watkins in, or Watkins scores and assists. So fair play to you.
I knew that because Duran and Watkins have been like flirting with who's the number 9. Duran's out, Watkins starts. But the manager at Villa stated clearly that Rodgers is integral to the way he plays. Now Rodgers has a yellow card ban.
Yep, nice, suspended for a game week. But so does this stuff up Watkins' form a little bit? It might. But thankfully for me, I got a bit of a haul from Rodgers before his suspension. So I'm happy with that. But yes, we'll have to see if that affects the way they play. Because as you said, Rodgers is integral. So who's going to be servicing Watkins? Is it going to be another KDB and Haaland situation where if there's no KDB or no Rodgers, there's no Haaland goals or Watkins goals?
I'm not even worried just about Watkins. I think the whole of Aston Villa. I think if the team is built around what Rodgers does, and I know we can attest to this, Nate. Rodgers hasn't been the greatest FPL asset For
But
price,
he's a
yes.
great player.
He is amazing to watch, and he really does connect that entire defense to midfield and creativity and feet ball at feet. He's really good. He's like another Cole Palmer, I'd almost say,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he just doesn't have the end product,
Mm.
right, in terms of points that Cole Palmer has in FPL and in Premier League.
Yeah.
So it's just it'll be interesting to see how Villa play without him. But it was Christmas. It was the time of giving. You know, the Christmas elves came out FPL.
Who's
Spurs, United, and Chelsea. Oh my goodness! What you how talk about
uh,
giving points for Christmas? These three teams who you should be relying on to get you points this Christmas and New Year's decided they're taking a break. They're on
yeah.
leave.
The only
Santa
one
Claus
like
shut the
the,
shop.
the only one was Palmer with a 10-point haul against Everton. That's because, or was it Fulham against Fulham? Because he scored a goal but got all 3
A
bonus
wonder
points.
goal.
Yeah, that's why I suppose he got all 3 bonus points. But other than that, it's been a very miserable Christmas for those 3 teams. Even this last game week where Son missed the penalty, which was very unlike Son. But
Did you see the two Spurs players running into each other? You must go check the video. Solanke and I can't remember who it was, but they ran into each other as Solanke was going to take the shot. It's
yeah,
typical Spurs behavior.
another just on that Spurs Son missing the penalty. Just a side note for Jose Sarr, the Wolves goalkeeper, who is at 4.3 million and has hauled for the past 3 weeks 7, 8, and 6. So we thought Wolves were the whipping boys, but maybe they have a bit of a turn. Maybe this draw against Spurs is what they needed. Who knows? But
Yeah,
4.3 is
changing
not.
manager.
Yeah,
Changing manager,
the
right?
fresh
The
start,
new manager bounce.
new
Everybody's
manager.
trying to
Yep.
prove
Yeah.
their way back into the team. I mean, the Wolves coming back to Spurs losing a 1 goal lead, man, that's normal.
Who's not affected by the manager buff is Manchester United.
Oh my goodness. I've never seen a Manchester United team that open. I don't know what Emeram's trying to do, but it ain't working. And Newcastle just walked through the first half, they walked through United's defense. Second half, Newcastle just shut up shop and said, okay, cool, we take the game and see what you can do.
United turned off the CCTV cameras. They fired their security, the bouncer, they just left it open for business. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like and United couldn't do anything, even with Newcastle sitting back. So I'm not too sure what's going on at United. So
It's a free pass season, I think. It's don't get
yeah,
relegated and find out which players you want to keep and which players you don't,
and
and
rebuild.
rehaul in the summer, rebuild. So yeah, that's what they're doing, but it's not fun to watch. Even I don't know what was worse: Newcastle beating Man United in that manner, or Chelsea just putting down the pants against Ipswich, because that was even worse from my
Yeah, I
perspective
don't
as
know
a
what
Chelsea
happened.
supporter.
We know what happened. We watched the game, but it's been a shocking performance. I don't know, man. I'm pretty convinced people were partying over Christmas and New Year, just like because they played on the 30th. They're like, oh, we're gonna party tomorrow night. We don't have the game on the first, like Arsenal, or it's like Christmas. Everyone's like, I don't know, fattened up on turkey and gammon, and it's just that time. Maybe that's what it is, because honestly, we looked a bit shocking. The only person, as always, was Cole Palmer, looking really good. Colwell to a point as well, but our defense at the back was horrible.
I'm not on your Colwell train. I'm taking off that train. I refuse to get on that one.
It's
I think he
fine.
was useless, and I
It's
think
a
Chelsea's.
first class train. I wouldn't expect you to understand.
How many clean sheets have you got out of Colwell in the last since you brought him in?
I've had him for 3 game weeks, so let's just clarify this. It's not like I've had him for the whole season, all right, guys? 3 weeks.
Haven't we dropped more points Chelsea in the last 3 game weeks than we
Yes,
did in the
yes.
last
But
10?
also, that's the time Colwell scored the most points consistently. So you got 6 points against
Okay,
Everton and then 4 against Fulham and then now 0. But yeah, maybe it's a sign.
okay.
Maybe I should get rid of Colwell, because as soon as I brought him in, we started losing points. So maybe
I
that's
got a perfect replacement for you if you have the money, but we'll get there. But speaking of that replacement,
Wait,
Forest is
I was
third.
about to say, because Chelsea have been dropping points, Forest has picked up points, and from Forest is now sitting in 3rd place.
It's insane. They are just showing that if you are solid, if you work hard, if you
Consistent.
just quietly get the job done, like they've beaten some top teams like Liverpool. They took points of Liverpool. They're also taking points off teams that are low blocks like Everton. Like Forest are just so strong. And I wrote down here, Chris knocks on wood again because this guy's back. He hauled after blanking for 3 game weeks.
Yeah.
So his price went up too. We'll talk about that a bit later. But I wanted to ask you about of the assets that Forrester have. They seem to be cooking, but which one do you think is the must grab? Because I think we both don't have any of these. Is it Aina,
Yeah, I think it's
Wood,
yeah.
or Gibbs White? Which one?
I think it's Wood. For me because look, I could upgrade Cole to Aina, but it is an Aina budget to make that happen.
Yeah, because
He's a
he's
bit
gone up by
expensive.
0.2 in the last 2 weeks.
I think he's on around 5 points.
0.2.
Yeah, 5.2. So Chris Wood for me would be the easy one because I have João Pedro, so and I have some money in the bank. However, at this point of the game, me still owning Haaland, yes, he scored. Thank you. I don't really see a way to afford those assets with the new manager chip coming in for Game Week 24. By the way, that's when the chip will be active. For those of you who don't know. So,
Aina is
but
top defender stats, FPL points.
in well, I was
You think it's still okay to
I was about to
join?
say in lieu of that, I would probably it would be a toss up to save money, get out Van Dijk and put in Aina, kind of a thing.
Aina.
Because yes, you are losing Van Dijk, but attacking returns, clean sheet returns, consistency returns, and you're saving money for your manager for that manager chip budget that opens up in 2-3 weeks time. So yeah,
I think if you're not gonna have Sals, maybe you have to have Aina. And if you want to double up on them, it's a cheaper option than doubling up on, let's say, Van Dijk and Allison. Like,
speaking of
like
sales,
let's talk about some price rises because there's inflation coming in 2025. The economy is gonna get destroyed. The inflation, rising price of bread, and FPL assets.
there we go. 4.9 Matt sales.
He started off as a budget pick and now he's becoming a premium.
He was my backup keeper when I brought him in at the start before he moved to Forest. So yeah, 4.9 is actually a lot of money for a goalkeeper for me personally, based on the structure of my team, how I'm trying to build it, which is why I took out Flecken for Henderson because I knew Flecken was going to go down in price. But yeah,
But he
he's
is the
good
top scoring, isn't
goalkeeper.
he? Or close to?
He might be up there. I don't know. Pickford keeps saving penalties, so it could be
Yeah.
Pickford.
No, it's Pickford and Salsa close to each other. Salsa is
Yeah.
ahead by 2 points. And they only point one away from each other. And I promise you, if Forrest keep another clean sheet, he's going to be matching in price with Pickford.
The next player that I want to talk about, and I looked in my team since game week 1 because I had this weird self-reflection moment of the new year where I wanted to see what moves I've done over the last 20 weeks. And there's only 2 players in my team that haven't left. One of those is Robinson.
No, he's been a solid pick. He gets so many attacking returns.
Yeah.
As a defender, though, because Fulham are not the strongest side, but they are a solid side. He's not scoring in the 90s. He's not where Aina and Trent and Gabriel are, but he's definitely was a good pick in the beginning of the season to stay
For the
in
price
your
as
team.
well. He was 4.5 when it started. He's now up to 5 mil, so not as desirable, I'd say. I'd rather just save the extra money and go for Aina, to be honest. But if you have him, just keep holding him.
He's got good fixtures coming up, eh?
Yeah.
Ipswich at home, West Ham away, Leicester away. Those are 3 of the easiest fixtures to score points in right now. And Fulham are very strong defensively. And you can argue if Man United don't fix themselves by the end of January, that's another one.
The next person I want to talk about defensively for price rises, he's now 4.8. I brought him in at 4.2. 4.2 is Lewis Hall.
Okay, I know you're good at FPL, but this one was an inspired move. When you brought him in, I was like, what are you doing? Next week, I was like, what are you doing? And then after that, I was like, why did I do that?
4.3,
Because
sorry.
he has been insane.
Yeah.
He's been insane. 4.8 now. And like, he's like, there's so many picks that are worse in my team. Like I could easily have had Hall over Lewis Hall.
Yeah, Lewis Hall.
and I could have had way more points. He's one of those players where I feel like if you're talking about the difference between Robertson and Hall, Hall is one that's in a team that's gonna consistently be up there in attacking returns in Newcastle.
That was probably my best move of the season.
Yeah.
I will, and Haaland was the worst move of the season. So it's like it's cancelled each other out. And then obviously Aina, we've spoken about him. Those would be our 3 defenders that are really must
Prices are
looks,
going up.
and yeah, too fast. Pivoting to midfield, Mbuemo keeps scoring, and his price keeps going up as well.
And even with bad fixtures, that's why I brought him back in my team. I had him on my bench
And
and he scored
congratulations
7
to you for doing
points.
that because you got a goal this weekend. So,
Yeah, but it's on my
or
bench.
yesterday.
But 7 points. But he's playing Southampton away, which could be a decent game. And then I know he's got tough fixtures coming up with Man City and Liverpool, but like if Brentford are going to do something, it's going to be through him. So, but his price is increasing. So if you've gotten rid of him, you might start to feel like you want to get him. If he scores in the next game, his price is going to go up again.
Yeah.
So be careful. One person, did you bring in Luis Diaz?
I did. In preparation for that double game or double midweek fix, not double midweek, the midweek game week, because I thought they were going to rest Salah, so I brought in Diaz. But then I
Yeah,
also wanted to double it, but he played.
the whole world
Nevertheless,
was in uproar because he had a Christmas picture, and every time he has a Christmas picture, he does badly, and then he still came in with these 2 assists, goals,
class.
2 goals, an assist, and a shut off.
Yeah, but
So
that paid off for me. I'll talk about it a bit later. So I doubled up on Diaz and Salah, and he pulled for me. And Diaz is now up to 7.6. He scored on midweek as well. So
I think if I'm looking at my team right now, I'm thinking maybe I did make a mistake bringing Mbuemo in because obviously Luis Diaz is now the same price as Mbuemo, or actually just less than Mbuemo
yeah,
at
0.1.
7.7 and Diaz is 7.6. So maybe a double up in midfield of Liverpool's most biggest attacking return merchants, Salah and Diaz. So well done on that. What do you think about Gibbs White though?
Yeah, the other
As a
Forest man. 6.4, big increases as well. He was at
It's
some
no more.
point.
He's no more budget, right? That doesn't count as
No, that's
budget, does it?
premium territory. I was gonna say he was between the conversation between him and Smith Rowe for me at the start of the season. I went to Smith Rowe because he was slightly cheaper, but turns out Gibbs White has been returning more. And see, now he's slightly more expensive for me to not even consider him now. He's kind of gone on under the radar for so long at such a good price that now it's almost a waste to bring him in
It's an
based off his
awkward
price.
price, right? If he
Yeah.
was 5.4, 5.5, you're
Smith Rowe,
thinking, yeah,
easy,
yeah,
done. Yeah.
that's my midfield extra slot. But now you have to replace someone like Mbuemo or
Or
uh,
Diaz or
yeah, you
whatever.
got to replace a big hitter, right?
Mm.
So it's kind of this price to me. Why I've included him in this is because I feel like his price has made it no longer an option for me to bring him in because I
Yeah.
don't trust him that much. And
Um,
forwards, I
one of
got
the
I got
cheaper
30.
premium strikers who you said, or you actually called every single one of these right. For those of you that don't know, if you didn't watch last week's episode, Mike said 3 names: Watkins, Isak, and Jesus were going to hold points, and they all did. Um, Jesus or Jesus or however you want to pronounce it, the Lord hath cometh to Christmas, delayed Christmas, I guess, because he did haul yesterday against Brentford with goal and assist, as predicted by Mr. Mike over there. He's currently at 6.9 mil, who is a very good price to target considering Saka is out of the equation for a while. This is Danny Welbeck money for those of you
Yeah,
that still have him.
6.9 is nothing for a forward who's on fire in a
Cheaper than
team.
Solanke.
It's pushing for the title to contend with Liverpool. And I think that the major thing, like you said, is Saka's out. They're going to need to rely on someone. So it shifts to the left,
Yeah.
right? Or it shifts up front to him, whether he's playing on the left or up front. So I think look at Jesus if you've got the money up front.
And why I think he's good is because he got an assist as well. He didn't just score. It means it shows that he's more involved now. So yeah, well done to you. That was a very good shout, very good call, good move.
As for Isak's put himself up there, overpriced.
He's climbing
Higher
Haaland
than
money
Watkins.
now.
Like
It's expensive, bro.
the fact that you have Haaland and Isak is testament to you making good transfers at the right time.
Thank you.
Because I don't think you would have been able to. There are times we always preach about wait for news and press conferences, but there are times you have to jump on early transfers the day the game week ends because you know price rises are coming.
Even that
And I
night,
know
like Newcastle scored, Isak scored, and his price went up that evening after their game. So yeah,
I was helping a buddy out trying to get Isak in his team, and we couldn't. And he
it's
was like
difficult.
0.1 short. And now he's 0.4 short because Isak's just shot up in price along with everybody else. So, yeah, Isak is one to have.
Isak price changes with the cost of petrol, I think. Just changes all the time.
Another one that's kind of been priced out for me is Wood, because I
Yeah.
think he's gotten so expensive that even though he's doing really
See, I would just
well,
go Jesus over Wood now. Wow,
yeah,
6.7. Why would I just make a move to get extra money and put Jesus in my team?
yeah, and it's sad because Forest are third in the league. Their players are top FPL scoring players. Aina, Wood, and Gibbs are decent, but I have none of them in my team. So it's just interesting to note that we keep on sidelining these Forest players, but to our detriment. Speaking of this week coming up, game week 20. What's the big games you want to watch this weekend? Where's the goals coming from? Where's the points coming from?
I'm going to start off with the obvious one, which will be my captain choice going into this weekend, but it's Mohamed Salah, Liverpool versus United at
Bro,
Anfield.
I was still waiting for you to say Haaland versus West Ham. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the shocker.
I saw you. You were like, nah, this guy's going to say it.
Because he has, just so you know, guys, he has his highlighter pen on the City versus West Ham. So I'm like,
I baited him in the notes. Thank you, Google Sheets. No, I think Liverpool versus United will be, bro. If United play the way they played against Newcastle, they're cooked. United's going to get Liverpool's going to get 6 goals. Like something.
What if they play the way they played against City?
Well, this is the thing. Which United's going to show up, right? This is what you've got to consider. However, I feel like at Anfield, a team going for the title, this might not be an easy game, but I don't think they lose that game. I'll be honest with you. I don't think
I'm tired of talking down Mohamed Salah. Let's just give it to him. It's triple captain time, as you're going to say later. Let's just give it to him. Like, I'm looking at that Spurs Newcastle game, and I'm like, at least Spurs know how to defend, but Newcastle know how to defend.
Yeah.
But Spurs and Newcastle are both attacking teams. Newcastle have the benefit of Spurs having no recognized defenders at the back, senior players all injured, slowly coming back. And the more they push themselves, another Udogi went out injured now for a long term.
Mhm.
So Spurs could get destroyed in the first half, the same way United were. So I would look at that game for goals. And then, as I hinted, I thought you were going to say West Ham because West Ham look bad right now.
That is a good game to watch as well, the City versus West Ham playing at the Etihad. However, the only reason why I said didn't mention it much is because I don't know if Pep's back. I don't know if City are back. Like, we don't know. We don't know. Like, they did, but they obviously won their last game, but they've had
if they win this one
start
convincing, I think
ending.
two wins, convincing wins on the bounce means that they can build from that.
Yeah.
So I'd say this is the deciding game of whether Pep's back.
Yeah, agreed.
Nate, tell me about your team. What are you doing? Like, because I need to know so that I can know what to do for my team.
I'm captaining the right person.
Besides that, you happy with your 96 points?
Your dyslexia. It does look weird though. Yes, 96 points this game week past, up to 35,000 overall, which is very nice. Still top of the league. I wasn't until Arsenal's game because, until Tuesday's game. Someone else in our league must be a subscriber because he doesn't look familiar, or just a random, who knows, was sitting on 90 points, and he overtook me before my bonus point calculations. I was a bit nervous, but then points came through. But
ooh, it's getting tight at the top.
It is. He had Trent, Diaz, and Salah in his team, so he got a fat haul this week.
He's a Liverpool supporter.
Must be. But yeah, that cleared me to 1,268 points overall. The reason why I got that points: Lewis Hall, 12 points, Rogers, 11 points. All my forwards hauled, which was great. Haaland, João Pedro, and Issa. Thank you, João Pedro, for finally doing something. And then Mohamed Salah, Luis Diaz, and Palm obviously didn't do anything. But I had Robinson as well. Robinson got me an assist, as per always. So yeah, it's just a very good game week for the team.
I think if I looked at your team and the one player that I would point out and be like, that could have gone badly for you if he didn't do anything, I think it's Rogers. I think Rogers has the potential to disappear and not score in games, and that 11 points was big. That pulled you back into
like a lot. Yeah,
kept you at the top.
Yeah, because the thing is, right, Rogers doesn't do that. I only have like 85 points, which we think, okay, 85 points is good, but not if you're like, if you look at not if you're trying to finish in like a top threshold. I'm trying to get top 10,000. That's my goal this year. But like if you look at the top of the overall world, there's like 8, 5, 6 points separating everyone. So 10 points is a lot. But yeah, that was for me. Diaz and Salah double up paid off, which I was happy about. Lewis Hall, like I said earlier, is just a masterclass move for me. Probably one of the best moves I've made all season. And Holding, João Pedro, and Haaland, they did repay the faith eventually. Although we've discovered Haaland's only 2-3 points behind the top scoring striker, so it's not the worst. So maybe he can bounce back now. And then people are missing out on him, which would be great for me. Maybe. Who knows? It's one of those things. But they did repay the faith. And speaking of faith, your move paid off. Who were
Yeah,
you
because
faithful in?
I was faithful in Jesus. Came in before Christmas for the injured Saka. I know I made some changes to make that work, but it worked for me. And I think that with looking at my forward players, they've got some really good fixtures coming up this week. Watkins at home versus Leicester, Isak versus Spurs away, and Jesus versus Brighton away. I know there's 2 away fixtures, but those are 3 fixtures against teams that low defensive rates or records.
Yeah.
So I rate my forward line this week, and I think that it's going to do well with all of that. But you know what's hurting me a lot? I've been thinking about it, and I see players with Trent, and I'm like,
I looked and I'm like, why did I take Trent out of my team? Remember, I had him earlier and you were saying, there's so many other players. Like it was back when Arsenal were doing well and you could get.
and Liverpool weren't keeping clean sheets. They were
No,
winning, but they weren't keeping clean
exactly.
sheets.
And they've just changed in form. Trent is like getting so many points now. And I can't afford him in. Like, it's just no way for me. Unless I get rid of Holland, obviously. We're stuck.
Again, and remember, last season for Trent, because it looks like he's on his way to Madrid or somewhere.
I mean, Madrid it was going to be Reece James, but man can't stay fit.
Let's not talk about hospital bed team there. Fofana's apparently out for the season too.
Oh,
but yeah,
days.
I don't know if I'm going to make any changes this week. I might pull a Nate and keep my changes. If I was going to make a change, I'm thinking seriously about Aina. If there's space for him in my team, where do I fit in Aina?
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, your problem. That's my problem. But let's look at captain choices. Now, the obvious captain choice. I'm sick and tired of this man. I'm sick and tired of him scoring 2 goals and assists, taking his shirt off, losing a point, and then everybody's captain choice is good. But is it that easy, Nate? Do we just keep captaining Salah? Is that what we're supposed to do?
I honestly think so. I think the way he's going and the way Liverpool are going, I really don't see another way forward to choose a different captain.
Even at home and against United, you think it's time?
I think especially against United. In fact, I put in notes to just triple captain this game week because I have a feeling it's just going to be one of those absolute demolitions.
Salah's last big game at against United at
Anfield,
Liverpool,
yeah.
Anfield, and he just I don't even know what to say about Salah anymore.
Well, look, he's
the safest, strongest, best bet.
His biggest game of the season was against Spurs, and where he scored 21 points. That was his most points that he scored. 2 goals, 2 assists. Salah has not scored a hat-trick this season yet.
You think he scored a hat-trick?
I think he scores a hat-trick against United and seals the deal, yeah.
I'm just worried that United have a game plan to shut down Salah. Liverpool the way they shut down City. I'm just worried that they turn up because the United seem to be like not really bothered about the season and just plodding along, but they turn up in the big game. Are they going to turn up in this one? But you know, every time I don't captain Salah, I cry a little bit. So tears into my Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Not going to spend too much time about this on this next one because a lot of people have moved him out. But as a differential, I would say is Haaland playing against West Ham. He obviously scored last week out, and this is probably the game to decide that City are back in the title race, although it'll take a while, but at least qualify for Champions League.
This is, I think this is the best fixture City have had in a long time. I can't see West Ham putting up a fight against City.
I can't see Haaland not scoring unless he misses penalties again. But
I'm going to say something controversial. Ooh. I think Haaland outscores Salah this week.
Ooh, now you make me consider my captain choice.
I'm just going to say that out loud.
Put it in the universe.
One person I'm not thinking of captaining. No, yeah, one person I'm not thinking captain is Palmer versus Palace. I don't trust Chelsea. Like they hot and cold. Who knows who starts? He's gonna. He says it's a new year. Is he gonna start on right wing? Is he gonna start number 10? what's happening with there's too many options in Chelsea, so I'd stay clear of that. But one I am looking at is the home fixture of Watkins versus Leicester. You think they can do okay without Rodgers?
I don't know. Like, it's up there on the list, and I'm thinking it's more of a differential just because of we don't know how Aston Villa play without Rodgers. Rodgers has started and finished pretty much every single game this season. So I don't know what it's going to look like. I think it would be a bit of a gamble to captain Watkins. He might get a goal and assist because Watkins might play that false nine now. Who knows?
But Salah and Haaland are the better captain.
I would say so. I would say so. And
What
speaking
about
of differentials, would be Isak, Newcastle playing against Spurs. It is away, but we know how Spurs love to throw games. However, we also know how Spurs love to prove that they're unpredictable. So they could just come and end up winning and beating Newcastle.
I'd say Lewis Hall doesn't get any defensive points this game, but he could definitely get some attacking returns.
Yeah.
I don't think there's clean sheets going to happen on either side of this game, but I could see Isak being up there with points. So he is definitely an outside pick for captain. But yeah, that's what we've got today. I'm excited for the game week. I'm excited.
Let us know in the comments if you enjoyed this longer episode talking about the price rises and that. Mike thought he'd add it in just to give you some more things to be sad about in 2025.
Talk about money. It's January. No one has money. You got to talk about money.
It's dry January, everyone. Save that booze. No drinking.
Month of the year.
Thank you guys for watching. It's game week 20 coming up. Deadline is tomorrow, 11 a.m. UK time. That's 2-3 a.m. Canadian time. So stay awake and
make your changes before you sleep.
Make your changes before you go to bed. Yeah. And nevertheless, may the points be ever in your favor as always. And we'll see you next week for a routine game week. Nice to be back in some sort of routine. So we'll get back into it.
Normal.
Back to normal. Back to work. Cheers, everyone. Have a good week.